Hey, BassGeek here. September is a grind. What should you do? If you don't go deep, run the rivers. That's right, geeks. Now, September is tough. The bass start grouping up. They start feeding up. They'll start busting, but they'll start keying in on a lot of little shad. And sometimes chasing those busters, man, you end up busted. You know what I'm saying? So what do I do when I don't want to chase after those schools out there over open water? I run the rivers and creeks. Now there's a key, and this will go all through fall. You need to remember, don't fish ditches. What's the difference between a ditch and a creek? Active water. They can look the same. A ditch can be as big or bigger than a creek. You're looking for active water. It's going to be running nutrients. It's going to be running oxygen all fall long. That's going to be your key. Find the active water. You're going to find the bait fish. You're going to find the bass. But overall, right now in September, you're going to find a little bit of current and a lot of oxygen. And do I have a fun bait to find those hungry river bass? All right, geeks, so let's say you run up the rivers and you're in clear water like me. You've got some clear water, maybe a little bit of color. There's a little bit more color to this water than anything else. Now, as the day goes on, as the sun comes up, something that I love to throw, and there's a couple of different reasons, is because you can do a few different things with this bait, is a toad. It's a little more subtle than a buzz bait when these bass are super finicky in September. What I also like about it is that you can stop it and let it sink just a little bit. So if a bass comes up and misses it, you can let it act like it's been injured, and it's its own follow-up bait as it sinks. And the toad, which is really my favorite that I'm going to show you today, is good in grass, in pads, in open water. You can skip it, and you can fish pretty much around anything you want. What toad is that? It's the Yum tip toad. Now this color here is called Snot Rocket. It's really my favorite color. You can see it's got that sort of green pumpkin back and got that pearl white swirlish belly. And there's some really cool designs about this tip toad that I want to show you right off the bat. Now there's a particular hook that I use with them, and it's the 5/0 twist lock owner toad double. Now we'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, and I'll show you a little bit more about it. I want to tell you a little more about the toad first. So number one, what I love is it's almost, the legs are almost like paddle tails. And what's great about it is this toad is actually designed for that hook. Right in front of the legs, you'll see two notches. And then just above the notches on the back, you'll see two little humps. So what those notches and those humps do is allow that hook to come up and rest behind these notches, and makes it even more weedless, but increases your hookup because it's still exposed. Snot Rocket, obviously my favorite. Let me show you some of the other ones that I like to use. Now this is white, and this is always a great color to use either on a buzz bait or just by itself when you got a little dirtier water. This is also one of my favorites, and this is Watermelon Pearl Laminate. Still got that natural watermelon, but the bottom is pearl. It's got a little more white to it on that belly, so it'll stand out a little better in heavier cover and dirtier water, but still a natural color. You've always got to have a good green pumpkin. You got a lot of bluegill up shallow, put a little chartreuse in on that bait, a couple different places, maybe the tails, maybe around the front of the neck of the bait. You'll get a few more bites. Another great bluegill imitator, this is Summer Gill. Really love that lighter belly. Another great color, Watermelon Red. Last but not least, you gotta have bullfrog. Always gotta have that lighter belly on the bullfrog. Like I said, this was designed for the owner double toed hook, the screw lock, and it works great with this little hook. So rigging this bad boy is really pretty easy. First, you just go straight into the nose and you screw the toad all the way up. Now, you take your hook right there, get it lined up with your weed guards. Now I go through the two little ears, which allows the hook to stay nice and in place. Make sure you screw it all the way up. So for my reel, I like a little faster reel. This is an 8-to-1. This is my buzzbait rod and reel combo too. This is a Daiwa Tatula CT series, a little bit older. I don't think they make these anymore. This is a TFO Taction 7'5", medium heavy plus, but it throws this thing just fine because this reel is a great casting reel. And as always, I'm gonna throw it because I'm not throwing around a lot of vegetation. A lot of times for me, it's gonna be over some sort of wood. I'm gonna throw it on mono. Probably 14-pound test most time. Just pick any sort of your favorite mono. I like the low vis green because, I mean, you can see the water. You know what I'm saying? The good thing about the tip toad is you can use it anywhere you use a buzz bait, and you can use it almost everywhere you use a regular frog. For me, I like to use it in places like this. We've got up in the river, we got a little bit of grass up here, and we've got a little bit of wood. So it's a great place to throw it. Now you want to make multiple casts to that sort of stuff. And I love, and probably the primary place that I use this toad is where I have laydowns or brush. And I'll use it over top of that, make multiple casts into the same areas to draw those fish up out of there and get some big bites. What I love about coming up into the rivers or into the creeks that have some running water this time of year is that I can cover water with this thing too, but it's also subtle. So if the water on the lakes or the rivers or streams or ponds that you're fishing is clear, the tip toad or a toad in general is definitely the way to go. Now there's a lot of different places that I'm going to throw this, and it can mean a lot of different arm slots when I throw it. I could side cast, I could skip, I could overhand cast. A lot of times it just depends on what I'm trying to get it into, where I'm trying to get it into, whether it be overhanging trees, whether it be across grass, or whether it be over top of some sort of wood cover. Now, as soon as it hits the water, of course, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna get it going. It gets going super easy, easier than a buzzbait in my opinion, but it gets going super easy. It's got a great kick to it, and you just reel it at a nice steady speed. Now remember, if you get a blow up and they miss it, either stop and let it drop, and if you swing at it, try and get it back over there as quickly as you can and just let it sink. It's a great follow-up bait. You don't have to bend over, pick anything else up. They'll come right back and bite this on the drop. Now, a lot of times you're going to be throwing this over things, so you want to set the hook straight up, just like a frog, straight up to a 45, and you're going to want to crank them in because these toad hooks will work against each other sometimes. So set that hook hard, put them in the boat. Bow hop them in. Don't worry about getting the net. Don't worry about playing them. Don't let them flip and flop on the side of the boat. So make sure you go check out the Yum Tip Toad. You can rig it also on a single hook too, guys. Not a problem at all. This keeps it upright and keeled out a little bit better in my opinion. Makes it a little easier to skip. So if you want to check out how to use a toad and a buzzbait in combination to make that topwater bite last longer, make sure you go check out this video right here. And as always, questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications. Join the 100% Watch Squad and help me grow this channel. Help me live my dream of doing this full time. And as always, you geek frog.